Hi, and welcome to this vocabulary lesson because we are going to look at synonyms, collocations in context, and words that belong in the word family. I hope you'll stick around with me every single day, learn these 3,000 words with me. Deliberately, deliberately. So the verb for deliberately is deliberate, deliberate. To deliberate means to think about it really carefully or intentionally, to go over all the options, and after that you would make a decision. So the deliberation is the noun, and a deliberation is something a jury would do. So that's the kind of thinking. It's slow, it's intentional, so I have these pictures here. This guy is deliberating. He's deliberately making a decision. These people are deliberating. They are talking it out. Maybe they are in deliberations where they are having some kind of a negotiation and bringing forth very specific ideas that will help make their decision. So if something is done deliberately, it's done intentionally, purposefully or purposely, willfully, voluntarily, or consciously, with intent. So deliberately means it's done with intent. It means careful planning. The teacher deliberately organized the lesson to help weaker students participate more. This is a very positive usage. It's done intentionally for a beneficial purpose, deliberately organized. It can be a neutral. She deliberately chose a smaller apartment so she could spend less time cleaning. It's a conscious decision to deliberately choose something. It can be a negative. He deliberately avoided answering the reporter's question. He intentionally refused to do something. He deliberately avoided. Whether your intention is good or bad, that's up to you and what is happening in the sentence. The word deliberately can be a positive, it can be a negative. The company deliberately misled customers about the product's safety features. Now, if we take the word deliberately out, the company misled customers about the product's safety features. Okay, that's bad. The company should not have done that. If we say deliberately, then it means they did it intentionally, and that's worse. Sometimes bad things happen because we don't think through it clearly, but if we think through it clearly and choose to do the bad thing, then that's even worse, right? Deliberately misled. The surgeon moved deliberately during the complex operation. So this means that they were careful. Deliberately can mean carefully. It's slowly and carefully rather than quickly. So we put deliberately with a verb. We can deliberately ignore, we can deliberately leave, or deliberately create. We can deliberately do most things. With an adjective, so adverbs modify verbs, and they answer the question how, or what is the method. So if she deliberately created an environment that would be comfortable for her students, then it's how did she do it? She did it with thought and purpose. Okay, what's the method? Deliberately or any adverb can also modify an adjective, and this just adds to the type of adjective. So they're deliberately vague. If you're deliberately vague, then you are being vague on purpose. Deliberately quiet or deliberately provocative. And this one is very similar to the adjective. We use a past participle as an adjective often, but we also use a past participle in a passive sentence. It doesn't really matter because the placement of the adverb is pretty much the same. But let's take a look at a sentence that is passive. Okay, so we have a sentence here. We have a sentence here that is showing the adjective. The letter was deliberately vague. Okay, that means the people who created the letter wanted to make it so people wouldn't understand it. If I change this to some kind of a past participle, like the letter was deliberately delivered to the victim. It was deliberately delivered. Okay, now that because there's a victim, you think there must be some bad intent here, some malicious intent in the delivery. This is a passive sentence. The letter was delivered. But do you notice that placement is the same as if this were the adjective, vague? I could take away the to the victim, and we're not really sure if it was delivered, the delivered letter. We're not really sure because we often use our past participles to be adjectives. So in this case, it's a past participle, it's a passive sentence, but you also use the same structure for she acted deliberately tired. So things can be deliberately designed, deliberately concealed, deliberately planned. And notice all of that, I'm thinking of the passive voice. The opposite of deliberately would probably be unintentionally. We don't say undeliberately. Indeliberate? Maybe we say indeliberate. Yes. So we'd say unintentionally. Unintentionally is more common. However, we put an in with deliberate. Okay, so we can say indeliberately, and that's just the opposite. Un is a prefix that means the opposite. In is also a prefix that means the opposite. The noun is deliberation. The verb is deliberate. The adjective is deliberate. Notice that the verb and the adjective are the same word, but they're pronounced differently. Usually when we're using it as a verb, we're going to say ate, deliberate. And when we use it as an adjective, we're going to say deliberate. So there's deliberate, that's the verb. Deliberate, that's the adjective. So the pronunciation is just a little bit different. If you didn't hear the difference in that pronunciation, then I would say to hold this syllable a little bit longer when you're pronouncing it. Deliberate. That way people will hear an A even if you're not sure how to make that sound. And the adverb is deliberately. Deliberately. I really hope that you enjoyed this word. Research shows that if you know 3,000 words, then you can pretty much say anything you need to say. I hope I'll see you tomorrow, and please like and subscribe.